Hello everyone, my name is Lowko and welcome back to a professional match of StarCraft 2. Now what I've got for you today is supposed to be an amazing match of Terran versus Zerg, where we find ourselves, interestingly enough, on a map called Equilibrium. Now, this is by far the most vetoed map over the last couple weeks, and for some reason, it apparently went through in this particular match. Now, spotting right here in the top left-hand corner of it, playing with the blue Terran SCVs, we have the current world champion of StarCraft 2, and he goes by the name of Oliveira. His opponent in the top right, playing with the red Zerg drones, you know him, you love him, from South Korea. We're looking at Dark's main hatchery. Alrighty, I'm very excited for this game. I still do this, right? So, every single time I get a replay pack, so this particular game was played during the ESL Open Cup 203, I want to say, for the Korean server, aka earlier this week. The most recent ESL Open Cup for the Korean server, and I always sort all of the replays in file size first. I'm always hoping that somehow, some way, there's a very long game included in the pack. And I've noticed over the last couple of months, really ever since the map pool change and we've had the new multiplayer balance patch, we haven't really had a lot of games go past like even the 20-minute mark. We used to see a lot of games that went over to like 40 minutes, 45 minutes, sometimes even north of an hour. But lately, yeah, those have been far and few between. And I noticed that this game, it's got a very large file size, and at the very least, usually that's indicative of what should be an interesting match. Now, I'm very curious. Sorry, he's asking, pause please. 32422, go. Alright, probably a little bit of a VPN check, or at the very least a ping check of some sort. Oliveira making sure here that he can play the game effectively, because in this particular matchup, if you're trying to stim your Marines, especially on creep against roly-poly Banes, it does get very hectic if everything is delayed by like 0.3 seconds. Not quite ideal. Alrighty, now let's see. Curious to see exactly what ended up going down. So, the reason why we generally don't see this map all too often, and I can actually pull up the win-loss ratios for this map in this particular matchup. At the very least, I've seen it picked very rarely. Equilibrium. Is this base right over here. So the golden minerals together with the rich Vespian geyser, it's something that Zerg players can usually take quite quickly. Interestingly enough, Dark is actually not opting to take it early here. No, he's going to be going for the more, well, conventional base over here at the bottom. Anyways, Zerg players usually can take this base kind of early, whereas Terrans don't really have that level of luxury. Let me look at the win-loss ratios overall at the tournament level. Yeah. So, somehow, some way, Oliveira allowed this map to go through the vetoing process. This map, in the 46 tournament games in Terran vs Zerg that have been played on it so far, Terran has won 32.6% of them. 32.6. That's an absurd number, okay? That is not even remotely close to being a balanced map. So, Dark probably feeling kind of giddy here. The fact that he gets to play a game on this one is, yeah, not something that happens all too frequently. And I think it's mostly due to this base right over here. We see Zerg players usually rushing it out. Other than that, I guess it's not really too crazy. It's a spawn location as well. It's a little bit different, right? So usually we have maps that are diagonally mirrored. So meaning that if you draw a line, you know, from the top left, for example, to the bottom right, and you mirror it, you have the identical location on the other side of the map too. But on this particular map, we have a vertical mirror instead. So if you draw a line over here from the top middle all the way to the bottom, you will see that, well, it's mirrored top right to top left. Usually that means that you have maps that have a relatively close air-to-air space between the main bases, but obviously this map is, well, it's quite long, right? It's skinny and long at the same time. That was also my nicknaming. No, hold on. No, okay. Anyways, what in the world is this, Oliveira? Really? That's a fusion core. So the only reason to go for a fusion core at this level of StarCraft 2, if you, well, I mean, technically, I guess it could be Liberator range, but this has to be a battlecruiser every single time. That's also a strategy, though, that we don't really see all too frequently. So I can imagine that, well, Dark is not really gonna be too practiced against it. The problem is, right, so he's made a bunch of roaches. He's gonna be sending them across the map, probably. He hasn't really seen a whole lot. There's a bunch of Hellions available, but that's about it. If he would have gone for a Link Flood on the back of this game could have been over very rapidly. Because this battlecruiser, I mean, it's gonna start up soon, I think. Wait, what? We're gonna hold up right now, Oliveira. Huh? So he sees the roaches right now, decides to go for a Banshee instead. He's afraid as well of a Link Flood, but what's throwing me off here is that he decided to add on additional barracks before starting up the Battlecruiser. Now he cancels the Banshee and goes in... Huh? Okay. So now the roaches are still going to be able to get quite a bit of damage done. Usually against the Link Flood, you really do need the Banshee, because the Battlecruisers just take too long to produce, right? So yeah, eventually the Battlecruiser would hold all of this, but by then, everything would already have died. So we have Hellions killing roaches, which is already a little bit weird. We have addition. This is going to be the latest Battlecruiser ever. Now, it already was a late Battlecruiser opener. So... There are these moments, though, at this level in StarCraft 2, right? Where, because a build is so delayed, it actually deals more damage than if it was optimally timed. And the reason for that is pretty straightforward. The opponent simply doesn't expect it anymore. So you can get a Battlecruiser across the map by now, easy. Since nothing has shown up, this Battlecruiser is gonna teleport straight to the main base. There's no Spore Crawler. 6 minutes into the game is at least 30 seconds later than it could have been. But it may very well be able to deal more damage because it's late. Well, so far it hasn't really done all too much, though. Yeah, getting a queen, getting 5 drones is nice. I guess it's just gonna be a single Battlecruiser? The problem with the Battlecruiser is that it's really expensive. Takes forever to produce, plus you need an additional tech structure as well as a tech lab on your starport in order to produce it. So this Battlecruiser, 400 minerals, 300 gas, plus the cost of the fusion core, plus the cost of the tech lab, and then all of that time investment too. To kill what, a queen and a few drones? Now obviously you do need a fusion core as well if the game does go the distance, and I guess spoiler alert, this is a large replay file size, so I can imagine that we will see a little bit more use out of the fusion core, but this is like a, I want to say like a 1300 resource Battlecruiser over here, which, yeah, this guy may as well have been made out of gold here. Speaking of gold though, the golden minerals coming in right now for Dark, going into a Nidus network. A little bit of aggression over here too, but I don't think the Nidus has been spotted just yet. There's an Overlord here right above the main base of the Terran. The network will be available very soon. We have Dark rushing across the map with a bunch of roaches right now, going after some rocks. Wouldn't mind seeing him Nidus into the main base though. I think that's certainly the place we can expect it to be. Battlecruiser decided to go back home, getting a little bit of a new paint job over here. SCV's repairing it back up to full. Marine drop in the main base in the meantime though. May very well delay all of this. He's going to be able to go after the Evo Chamber and deny the +1 ground carapace. Evo Chamber is going to start back up. Roaches right now at the front. Nidus network inside of the main base. I'm assuming the queens are going to go in there. Queens. Brenda, Karen, Margaret, Lily, Susan, Lilibeth. No? Okay, we're not gonna... Okay, we're gonna push at the front over here instead. I ran out of Queen Boomer names there. Nidus Worm in the main. Normally you put in queens first, but this is already dealing a tremendous amount of damage because Oliveira was once again ready to go across the map. Still though, getting a bit of a flank right over here at that army that was pushing at the front. SCVs are falling in the main base. And this is looking like a bit of a banger so far, right? I mean, stellar gameplay by both players. Interesting map choice. Fascinating strategies. But ultimately, I do think Oliveira is going to be able to hold here. Yeah, roaches just don't trade particularly well against upgraded marines. But that came at the cost of 23 workers. I wonder if you should have sent the queens in as well. Look at them, just sitting here, accumulating energy. They could have been transfusing one another on the other side of the map. Maybe put in a little bit of counter damage against the BC. Maybe heal up some of the roaches and ravagers. Instead, right now, Dark is going to go for the Tunneling Claws upgrade, and he's just researching whatever he can. We now have Evo Chambers left, right, and center. He's already, he's going 4 Evo Chambers with 3 upgrades. You love to see it. He can pick and choose whichever one he wants to use for upgrading. Anyways, once again, we have a bit of a drop coming in. Oliveira using the map layout to his advantage. There is a unit on the watchtower, but that's not going to see 4 full medevacs passing over here all the way at the north. And we already saw how effective this drop was earlier. Now look at that production tab, man. Dark trying to fill up the entire width of my screen here. I don't know if that's technically possible. If you start up enough stuff, what happens to it? I don't know. Anyways, Queen's over here in the main base. Target fire down one of the Metafix before it finished unloading. Battlecruiser comes in as well. Siege tank is going to be able to siege up right now inside of the main base. Zerg units in the meantime trying their very best to scramble back into the main 2. Queens have already fallen. Zerglings not with their wings upgrade just yet, even though we're 10 minutes into it. Hive ends up going down as well. Liberators right now are going to be able to start harassing some of these mineral lines. Oliveira forced to pull a rabbit out of a hat, but he may have just been able to do it. Shutting down so much tech and killing 19, 20 drones? Look at this big boy battlecruiser, man. I was doubting him, but he's got 27 kills. He may be gold-plated, but well worth it. So this game has just been turned upside down. Oliveira was not in a very good position there. He decided to just go for one final push. Try and see if he can potentially equalize things, and it turns out, yeah, he's done a phenomenal job. Roaches right now also show their burrow upgrade here, which means that, well, he's not going to be able to catch the Terran off guard, assuming he's going to be okay. I'm still looking, though, at the amount of, well, space both of these players take up on the map. Don't lose the BC. No. Oh, my God. Almost died to a spore crawler. Okay, a little bit of a drop over here, too, at the bottom. I'm still looking at the amount of space that these guys are taking up on the map, and this is a triple CC build, right? Oliveira has got a lot of, yeah, unit-producing structures over here. I mean, he's got 5. It's not really too crazy. 5 barracks here, 1 factory, and 1 starport. Now going into the 4th CC. This Terran army, it may be able to go across the map with 2-2, but it's going to be difficult to win the game with it, right? And if you, in the meantime, then have a look on the right side of the mini-map, it's pretty clear that Dark, I mean, he's now remaking a hive over here at what was previously his 3rd base. He's taking up a lot more space. This man, he's shopping for structures and upgrades like he will never run out of minerals. I watched a video once upon a time of Michael Jackson going to the mall, and he was basically just pointing at stuff that he wanted, okay? He was like, I want this, I want that one too, give me that one, I want to hang that one up in my house, give me that one too, ship it to my home, set it up, right? That's basically the way that Dark was playing this game. Like he was never going to run out of resources, but it turns out he's mostly run out of resources. He's still maxed out though, he's got a good economy, he's got good upgrades, and he's got, well, other than the Spire, basically all the tech in the book. Ultimately though, this army is not very inspiring to me, right? So it's Roach, Ravager, Lingbane with Infestor support. One thing, though, it's really good at is not dying, and oh my lord. Okay, well, that's the first time. Good splits by Oliveira. That's the first time Oli actually sees any of those infestors, and now he's going to be able to take them into consideration. That was actually a really good split, considering he didn't see them until the fungal already landed. Making sure that those biles did not connect and that the banelings also didn't get close. Battlecruiser now 33 confirmed kills. You'd imagine that we want to now go for a 2nd BC as well, right? Anyways, Neural Parasite coming up. We've got ourselves a Viper on the production tab. Yeah, he's just going for a little bit of everything. In the meantime, Oliveira going for a much more standard army. Now that he's got a 4th command center up and running, he's gonna get the gases going. Yeah, that's usually the cue for at least a 2nd factory. We can go into drilling claws, sure. But I would not mind seeing, there it is, a Ghost Academy. Ghosts are gonna be a very handy tool against whatever Zerg builds in the late game. Other than full Lingbane Hydra-based army, maybe full Lingbane Hydra-based armies. But if there's spellcasters in the mix, lurkers, vipers, infestors, ultras, brute lords, the whole shebang, ghosts are a pretty stellar choice. Maybe we can even make use of that fusion core as well and go into a little bit more liberator play. That's one of the things we have been seeing as of late. Terran's actually transitioning towards liberators first, before they go into ghosts. Guys like, for example, Clem have been playing that frequently, where they actually delay the transition towards the ghost in favor of liberators. And I kind of assumed here that Oliveira would be doing the same thing, because he already has the fusion core. But apparently not the case. Here's Big Daddy Battlecruiser, the Giga Chad of the Terran army. One of the worst BC rushes I've seen in a long time, and somehow it's still done very well. Yeah, now, I mean, it's a sad moment. Yeah, it's a sad moment for the Battlecruiser enjoyers watching this. No. What? Will we pause the game again? What happened? 3, 2, 1, go, go, go? All players ready? What happened? There's no way. There's no way you can... I don't know who actually paused the game there. It could have been Dark. There's no way you can write that thing up to lag. That infestor came... well, maybe he wanted to send it back home earlier. Maybe. It's possible. Yeah, okay, you know what? It's possible. That kind of seemed like an excuse to me, though, right? I get that all the time, dude. Rather than taking responsibility for my losses, I'm like, no, it's the balance of the game. It's the lag. I blame the map layout. Generally doesn't really happen at this level of StarCraft, so I'm assuming there was a genuine problem. But it is kind of funny to see whenever something horrible goes wrong and people are like, lag, map imbalance, David Kim, Blizzard, please. Anyways, so where are we headed now? Well, Oliveira is going to be taking up those juicy golden minerals. Dark has essentially taken all bases on his side of the map. The only problem is that these bases aren't really that far apart. He doesn't really have the workers anyway to mine all of these minerals just yet, but we are going to be getting there eventually. This map does, if you look at the mini-map layout at the very least, it seems to have a good setup for a full split map. Because if Terran, as per usual, can mine out their entire side of the map, and Dark can do the same thing in this game, so the Zerg can do the same thing, it should be an advantage for Terran, because they trade much more cost efficiently in the late game, assuming you micro well. So if somehow, some way, Oli can here take all of these bases, I think there is a chance that he can actually claw himself back into the match. He's still at a deficit right now, don't get me wrong, but he's building up his unit composition. Forces the council over there on this base. In order for Dark to really prevent a split map like that, and I think that's probably what Oliveira is aiming for, preferably, right? One way he can prevent that from happening altogether is by mining out one of the Terran bases himself. So if he can steal one of the bases of the Terran, that would be phenomenal for him. Problem is, it's blocked. This is my Terran impression. Problem here for him is that, yeah, which one are you gonna steal? I don't think any of these are stealable. So if this map really does go the distance, I wonder what happens. Nidus worms are being thrown left, right, and center. Dark is a rich man once again. He can go back to the mall, point at whatever upgrade he likes, make 17 Evo chambers if he pleases, and there's a lot of different options. Turns out 3 ghosts apparently can easily shut that down. Liberators here are gonna be able to get rid of it. Apparently, oh, Dark has started taking a page out of Cyril's book there, just randomly burrowing a bunch of infestors around the map. You never know exactly when they can come in handy. Now this base, it's probably gonna be dead. Yep, I hope Oliveira did not name that planetary fortress, because it's super dead right now. Then again though, losing a bunch of SCVs at this point in the game, that's still a good trade actually for the Terran. As weird as that sounds, he's ultimately just trading minerals right here for gas, right? Because those banelings are by no means cheap. Losing SCVs, planetary fortress, it's not the end of the world. How many orbitals are we on? We are currently at 4. Actually, only 4. 4 orbitals. Well, we did have a bunch of additional CCs building over here. There's nothing inside of the worm, by the way. This is just him trying to be a jerk. Mission accomplished. Okay. Widowmine is gonna burrow over here now, just in case. Okay, so Dark is still making a little bit of everything, but this is where I do get a little bit concerned though for our Zerg, as weird as that is, and this is probably StarCraft 2 bias coming into the mix. I've been playing quite a bit of ladder again myself, and I notice, right, and this is definitely Zerg bias, because I play mostly Zerg myself, I notice that I struggle in the late game like never before. All of the changes they've made over the last couple years to StarCraft 2, essentially to balance the game around Cyril, it's made it difficult for your average run-of-the-mill Zergs to compete in the late game. Now, obviously Dark is not your average run-of-the-mill Zerg. This guy has phenomenal late-game control, but personally, if I was in this scenario, even with this much money in the bank, even though with this many bases taken, I would be very concerned playing it out. So, as a Zerg enjoyer, I'm curious to see how Dark is gonna do this. He's got a lot of Brute Lords, he's got Infestors, he's got Vipers, he's got Queens. So essentially he's going full Spellcaster army here. Once again, a Zergling run by. Yeah, it was an orbital command, so no planetary fortress anywhere in sight. That means that the Lings are gonna have a very easy time. Reducing the worker numbers right now to well, the 40s. Only 47 remain at this point, which honestly is not too bad for Oliveira. Again, he should have enough orbital commands here to start replacing a lot of these. Although I say that, he probably needs more. Usually, all jokes aside, we actually do see like closer to 10 orbital commands at this point. He's got 5 of them. Which is really nothing all too amazing. Alright. The Zerg army is good. With 1 fungal growth, this game can still be over. There, by the way, is finally the advanced ballistics. Brute Lords advancing forward. We're gonna need more Thors. Yeah, at this point, these Zerg units are very powerful, though. Good fungal growth, but Siege Tank still dealing with a lot of them. Queen also ends up falling. So Thors absolutely destroy Brute Lords. Ghosts are also really good against Brutes. The problem is that there's just not enough of them. We're talking 12 Brute Lords, 5 Thors, 10 Ghosts. Yeah, when the Brutelings don't get cleaned up fast enough, so that's why those Blue Flame Hellbats are in the mix. They are able to, yeah, roast those little Brutelings very quickly, and even then, though, there's still not quite enough. Yeah, so 3 Thors coming up at the same time. I think that's an excellent choice. Zorkling drop in the main base. Gonna be able to target all of this down. I think we're gonna need about a dozen Thors. Okay, parasitic bombs here as well, going down. Trying to prevent those Liberators from sieging up. But the Liberators are doing a good job in turn, shutting down any infestors that are trying to move forward. Thors over here get rid of that Overlord that's been providing high ground vision there for a while already. Okay. So what Dark is doing here very cleverly is allowing all of the bases on his side of the map to be mined, right? So he's taken all of these. Now he's transferring drones as well to this. And then he's effectively creating a split map scenario where he's mining, well, I guess this base is like half mined. He's mined like a base and a half more if he can keep going the way that he is than his opponent. Oliveira trying to just sneak a base out. There's no way at this stage in the game that there's not a Zergling burrowed here, so I think he should have prepared that in advance. Maybe not make it so obvious that he's expanding on over in that direction. Anyways, Blue Flame Hellbats will be able to kill that Ling, and Oliveira is going to try and taking that. I love these Nidus Worms in the main base, though. They're so obnoxious, right? Like, as this game progresses, as this game gets bigger, Terran is further and further away from the main. Like, this is still where the units pop out of their production structures, but it's also very far from where the Terran's army is actually concentrated, right? So, again, this is now allowing those Brute Lords to come in and pick off a couple pieces of these Terran units at a time. You know what? I actually think the Nidus Worms have really been the backbone of all of this, because they constantly force those Thors to turn all the way around. And in a straight-up battle, sure, I think Oliveira's army is really scary. But with the way that Dark is constantly forcing his opponent's attention to go into multiple directions, it's really nice to see. At least as a Zerg connoisseur, that he can force the attention of the Terran in multiple locations. And well, maybe in a straight-up fight, though. Oliveira is aiming for that right now. Look at the amount of money in the bank. Yeah, Dark can effectively remake his entire army, whereas Oliveira has got this, and that's about it. He doesn't have full Liberator upgrades or anything like that either. He's looking for a good engagement. He needs an EMP, I think. If he can get an EMP on all of those Infestors and Vipers, that would be massive. A lot of clumping up right here. There's still a lot of Lingbane and Ravager in the mix. Apparently, this is the moment where Dark wants to take a fight. I don't think I'm in love with it. Maybe these Neural Parasites can change the tide of battle? No, I don't think that was quite optimal. Although you can see that instantly, right? The supply count doesn't really tell you the full story there. Instantly, Dark remaxes once again. And that's what he's leaning into right now. He's hoping that his economy is big enough. Ugh. Oliveira adding on additional command centers at this point in the game feels a little dangerous to me, because he's almost broke. He's not even maxed out, and he's building more CCs. This is great if the game goes on for a lot longer, but also a little bit risky, because if it doesn't, well, you need at least a few mules in order to justify building the structure. And we're now also getting to the point where those bases are actually running out. Like, the amount of mineral fields actually available in this game, it's nothing really to write home about anymore. Yeah, there's still quite a bit, though. We still have at least, like, I want to say 5 to 10 minutes of mining left. Tactical nuke coming up. Okay. Look at that little Brute Lord upgrade, though. Putting in so much work. Nidus Worm over here, too. Interesting choice. Liberator's moving forward. Yeah, there's nothing... there's nothing here that does air-to-air. Split right there by the Zerg player. He's once again decided to move in. Neural Parasites, though, do go down once more. Are there enough Thors still remaining to kill all of these broods? A lot of the Viper showing up a little late to the party. Liberators over here, yeah, taking care of some of those infestors that are casting the Neural Parasite. And Oliveira takes a supply lead. I mean, only for a very short amount of time, though, because Dark is, well, gonna smash his piggy bank here. But that was not the fight that our Zerg player is aiming for. Tactical nuke, by the way, flying towards the bottom section of the map across the little crevice here just to try and slow down the Zerg, right? Try to give the Terran a little bit of time. That's ultimately what nukes do at this level of StarCraft. They just buy you a bunch of time. Rarely do you actually catch the entire Zerg army unless your name starts with an S and ends with Olar. Rarely do you nuke the entire Zerg army. But it's something where the Zerg's like, oh god, where is it, where is it, where is it? And while they're trying to figure out where the nuke is, you can, well, remax, right? You get a little bit of time. We get the new Medevac upgrade as well. That's gonna double the regen rate of the energy. We only have 4 Medevacs. Apparently Oliveira is feeling rich. Alright, taking this base is huge. If he can secure this base, the tide may be tipping in his favor, honestly. Like, the last 2 fights we've seen have been amazing. 20 Brute Lords, though. We're going up to 22. Dark going mass Brute Lord here. Are there enough Thors available? We only have 8. There's always a chance as well here for the Terran to transition towards, for example, Vikings. Probably not what he's going to do, because fungal growth, parasitic bomb combos, very dangerous, but it is something he can bring out in a pinch. How many starports? Yeah, we have got 2 starports. They do have indeed some reactors on them, so it is a chance that we're gonna see some Vikings as well. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing it. Yeah, these parabombs though, 120 damage to units clumped up like that. Absolutely massive. Does Oliveira recognize though the amount of brutes that are currently available? Another tactical nuke on the production tab. I think Oliveira is trying to slow down this game a little bit to try and mine this base. Yeah, mining this base, absolutely massive. I think it might be time for Dark to steal this base. I think he actually should have taken this base already. Alright, anyways, we have a big fight happening over here at the bottom. Liberation zones, though, preventing... I love the Liberators here. Preventing those infestors from getting in range to use neural parasites and, well, fungal growth as well. Zergling counterattack here. Apparently the Ghosts and the Blue Flame Hellions have been tasked with shutting it down. Fair enough. Brute Lord's coming in from the side right now. Thor's getting a few hits in as well. We do have a couple Blue Flame Hellbats in front trying to roast all of these units. Yeah, I don't think there's enough Thors. But apparently Oliveira agrees with me. He decides to go for 3 more at this point. Okay, a couple snipes over here, going after whatever they can. Blinding Cloud as well, though, by one of those Vipers before it got shut down. 4 SCVs in total. Oliveira just trying to buy time. There's the Vikings. I think it's very clever. Vikings here can prevent this zoning over this little bit of terrain. As long as they stay out of range of the infestors, I think they should be okay. Thors are popping out. Very hectic battle. Another tactical nuke. Going in that exact same location. And again, it's buying time, right? So for 100 minerals, 100 gas, you can force the Zerg to disengage for some time. This isn't really gonna deal any damage. Nah, it's not really gonna do much. It's just gonna buy time. And that's exactly what Oliveira needs. Infestor coming in from the left, though. Does he see it? He needs a missile turret in this location. He does not have any mobile detection. That's actually a big oversight. He should 100% have a missile turret here. If this was Maru or, for example, Clem, they would have a missile turret here, I think. It's obvious that Oliveira knows he needs it, but this has been a hectic game, so it's one of the things that's slipping through the cracks. And that is certainly something that the Zerg player can make use of. Another tactical nuke coming up. +3 is going to finish up here as well, though, for those Liberators and Vikings. Okay. The entire Terran army is thinking about retreating from this spot. Oliveira has been snatching up some of the resources here. Dark now indeed stealing the base that was previously held by the Terran. I don't think Oliveira can give up this base. I think he needs this base. Like, he can retreat from this position, but I think if he retreats from this spot, He's effectively retreating from the game. I don't see how he's going to be able to obtain the victory here if he leaves this location alone. Assimilation successful? Oh, well, it was only for a short amount of time. Apparently he got a bit overeager. Now a missile turret starts up. I actually think that was a misplay from Dark. He should have waited. Much easier said than done. There's the tactical nuke. Don't pull a Solar here, Dark. Or maybe do, because it makes for an excellent clickbait title and, well, thumbnail to this video. But getting your entire Brute Lord ball nuked would certainly be a painful way to go out. 2 Thors apparently putting in a little bit of work. I like how we got the medevac upgrade for additional energy. Only to start using Thors as the main thing to carry around. I guess they're still healing up some of the ghosts from time to time. Alright, now we're at 11 Thors, 23 Brutes. In a straight up battle, hard to say who ends up winning it. If a couple neural parasites can come down, I think there is a chance that Zerg actually smashes the fight. Okay, this base is gone for now. Yep. No liftoff on the orbital command either. This is an important snipe for Dark. The banks are still significant. But it's only the Zerg player who can really easily remax here. Nidus Worm in the main base. Honestly, he's been relentless, dude. Very lovely work here by Dark. Trying to just create as much chaos as possible. Walking around right now with little changelings. Oh, sorry, I'm gonna back off for just a second. I was looking at the changelings here. Apparently, there was a really big fight happening. Maybe the game-deciding fight over here as that Nidus network goes up. And this is what Dark has been looking for. Yeah, just a moment here of lost focus on Oliveira's site may very well now create the engagement that Dark has been looking for this entire time. Massive blinding cloud and fungal growths go down. Is there enough right now for the Zerg to clean all of this up? Parasitic bomb right there. No micro from Oliveira for at least a little bit. Banelings hunting down whatever they can. Oliveira, though, coming in from the south as well with some more reinforcing Thors. Desperately trying to remax with as many of those units as possible. That was just a moment, right? Just a lapse right there where he was not quite playing perfectly. Wandering around back and forth. He's like, oh god, I gotta go kill another Nidus Worm. Right? And just that moment is all that really was needed. That being said, though, good fight for Dark. But not the game-winning one. He's still hunting for it. He's essentially right now leaning into him being able to remax much faster than his opponent. Again, trying to take this base. Terran, though, did resecure this expansion down south. We don't have a lot of orbital energy here. Well, one of the orbital commands is burning, but SCV has been tasked with repairing it. Very fast game as well from both players, by the way. Now playing 32 minutes of, well, 400-ish actions per minute on average. Not bad at all. Yeah, SCVs are gonna need to do a little bit of work here to repair these units up, because the supply count can be a little bit deceiving as we don't have that much HP on these units, right? And Dark is already ready for another fight. I think this is starting to become desperate right now for Oliveira. It's been desperate for some time. Mostly because of the early game, though. Again, massive Zergling run by here, trying to be as annoying as possible. The supply depots here that were previously completing this wall, making it difficult. And yeah, there we go. We're gonna try and once more fight in this location. Huge EMP does shut down all of the infestors, but they've already landed a blinding cloud. Parasitic bombs are going down. Thors are trying their very best to deal with the Brute Lords, but I think there might just be too many of them. Dark doing an excellent job playing the late game of Zerg versus Terran once again. And it's our Zerg player who obtains the victory over the world champion of StarCraft 2. Hey, if you enjoyed watching this video, please take the 1 second that it takes to hit the like button down below. It really does help. And if you enjoyed watching this, I upload new videos pretty much every single day. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thank you.